I didn't have an easy experience. And you know what the greatest honor I've ever received as a player is? In my 4th year and my 5th year, I was named team captain.
Just before Frizzell got him, and a leaping interception by Woodson, who got a foot down somehow inbounds.
Thomas, touchdown, Wolverine.
Nice call.
Here's a look at Boston and Woodson on the outside. He just standing there, now they're fighting.
One man. Goodbye. Hello, Heisman.
Plant their flag in the middle of the Ohio State field, and the Buckeyes rushed right.
Play fake. McCarthy scanning downfield and throws it high, and Wilson's got it. Bowman Wilson weaving down inside.
There it is. They won't pull that down. Chris, as they say in Ann Arbor, conquering heroes, victors valiant, Michigan, national champion.
Happy Thursday, Mr. Simpkins. How we doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm living the dream, buddy. Living the dream. It's
Likewise.
Thursday. The week's almost over, and Michigan football is back.
Yeah.
After
a long hiatus of a bye week.
After a much-needed bye week.
Very much so.
Hopefully they come back healthy and they could figure out this passing game that hasn't scored a touchdown in 2 games. But this week we head to the historic, is a good way to describe it, Wrigley Field.
Yeah. Very historic football stadium.
The ivy on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
The
fans on the roof.
I don't think there's going to be ivy at this time of year. Yes.
Yeah, probably not.
In the beautiful Windy City.
Yes. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Did Northwestern not play a game at Wrigley where they would only go in one direction? Because
I know they played Ohio State last year.
Oh, I'm thinking, okay.
But
I
don't
remember they must have fixed something, because was there not a game with Northwestern at Wrigley about 10 years ago, and about like the night before the game they realized that there wasn't enough room, like the back of the end zone was like inches from a wall, and they decided to only play in one direction?
You might be right. I don't remember that. But
should have researched that before we went on here.
Yes.
Consummate professional.
But regardless, it is pretty cool to be playing a football game at that stadium. I'm sure the players are going to love it. City of Chicago is great. So hopefully they're not out partying too much at in the downtown area the night before, and Sherrone Moore keeps these kids on lockdown.
It was the 2010 Wrigley Field game. They only went one direction.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because it's
have you ever been to Wrigley?
No, I haven't.
I've been to a weekend in Wrigleyville before. It was back in 2014, I think. It was my friend's bachelor party, and I went and saw the Cubs play the Milwaukee Brewers, and I bought a Tiger hat at Wrigley Field.
So I was in Wrigleyville. We were gonna go watch the Winter Classic with the Red Wings, but it was so cold. We ended up just going to ESPN Zone and drinking $3 pints of beer.
Delicious.
On New Year's Day, because that's what I needed.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you had to, hair of the dog, I think they
said. Hair of the dog. So let's get into this.
Yes.
What are you feeling about this game?
Well, I don't know if it's what I feel more than what I hope for this game is that they've, and I'm sure they have, but taken time to address some situations, maybe the passing game. Hopefully, Bryce Underwood's all-around mental stamina or a bounce-back game, hopefully, to be more positive about it. Hopefully this is a bounce-back game for Bryce and the offensive line. Hopefully it's a bounce-back game for everybody. Hopefully Jordan Marshall plays exactly the way he played against Purdue. I'm hoping, and I think trying to put my homerness aside, obviously my Michigan fandom aside, I'm thinking it's going to be Michigan will win handily, but it's not going to be this grandiose, air it out, amazing, like, drop a 50 burger on them or anything like that. I'm concerned, to say the least, about our passing game and our defense to a certain extent, because Purdue, which you could argue is in the same echelons of the Big Ten as Northwestern, Purdue played a game, man, and they only lost by one score against a team that was favored. I forget what they were favored by against Purdue.
21.
21, and they won by 5.
I think that's why you're seeing this. I think the spread's at 11.5.
Yeah, I've seen 10. I've seen as low as 10 and as high as 12.5. So 11.5 is right in the middle.
But I think you're hitting it like right on the head. Like Michigan ranks 119th in pass completions a game, 123rd in attempts a game. They only throw the ball on average 25 times a game.
Yep.
Which is crazy. Passing yards a game, they rank 100.
That's Michigan football, right? And mix in a struggling true freshman at quarterback.
Like when you
I don't know if he'd be considered struggling, but
when you rank 106 in passing yards a game
out of 126,
Michigan's best stat is completion percentage, and they rank 99th. Like it has to be better. Like flip the page. It just has to be better.
Yeah.
And,
now, are you talking? Do you think the defense is up to snuff to go to the other side of the coin? Like, what do you want to see from the defense?
I think the defense, considering they are playing a lot of young guys, has been pretty good. All things considered, the first few games you would see that opening drive touchdown. They kind of got that figured out, right? We're turning the ball over the way we should be. Like, I think they had 2 against Michigan State, 3 against Purdue. Like, the turnover buffs have been getting put on. It's just the fact that this offense doesn't sustain drives and puts them in bad situations again.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah,
and I don't expect them to pass against Northwestern, because Northwestern actually has a good pass defense.
Okay.
So you're gonna have to rely on the run.
Yeah, well, I mean, luckily we have someone in the backfield, RB2, which is Jordan Marshall, and he did prove that he can put a team on his back last week. Although, but like I said, like coming off a bye week, let's hope we see a different team. Let's hope we see more cohesive.
We didn't see it the last bye week, right? Because I think they came off the bye to play USC.
Yeah.
Like, so it wasn't there. This one, they kind of have no choice.
USC is a different story than Northwestern.
I know, but you got 3 games left.
Yeah.
You have to start looking good. And I think you're seeing it with the college football playoff, ranking them. No, sure, wrong button. Ranking them at 18. Like, they have to start. It's almost like an audition each week now. You're auditioning for the playoff.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's.
If
I hate to say it because we're playing Big Ten opponents, but it's like this is warm up.
Like, if you're not going to show that you have a passing game that's at least decent, then to be honest, there's a chance they're not going to get in, even if they do run the table.
Oh, for sure. If they run the table, then they would more than likely play Indiana in the Big Ten championship game if Indiana wins out. Because Michigan would go over Ohio, would they not? I know there's no divisions anymore.
I think that they would go over. I think they would go over Ohio, but then it comes down to tiebreakers because you'd have a one-loss Oregon if Oregon wins out, right? But they're going to play USC a week from now, so there'd be, I think, a lot.
I guess it would all depend on who would win that Indiana-Michigan game. But I don't think we should put the carriage before the horse here, and I think we should concentrate on Northwestern. At least not us, but like the team. But it's one of those things where there's so many different variables that nothing would shock me if they did or they didn't get in if they won out. It wouldn't shock me whether or not. Of course, I'd be disappointed if they didn't get in, especially if they went on to beat Indiana in the Big Ten championship game as well and ended up being 11-2 going into the playoff. I think that would buy them 11-2 and a conference champion. I think would get them in.
Well, the thing is too now for this game
because they would have beat Indiana, right?
Yeah.
In that scenario.
Well, yeah. If they make it to the conference championship game and beat Indiana, they're in.
Yeah.
But for the Northwestern game, Sherrone Moore already came out and said he's going to use Jasper and Bryson in the backfield a lot this game too. So I don't know. Might as well start. I don't know if that means Jordan Marshall's a little bit banged up, but considering he has 428 yards and 5 touchdowns in the last 3 games, he was the featured back.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need him to play good.
Yes,
but we need the offense to give the defense a break.
Yes.
And Underwood can't miss wide open receivers this game.
And he's just got to have more touch on the ball too. Like even if he's hitting the receiver in the hands, some of these guys aren't expecting a fastball, man. You know,
well, I don't think
some of these guys are open enough to put some touch on the ball. Because if you deliver a ball to the receiver's hands that he can't catch, I know the rule of thumb is if it touches your hands, you should catch it. But I really hope that that's what it was worked on. And I'm sure it was.
Here's my question then. Why didn't he have this problem in high school? Because you never heard.
Maybe the game's moving faster than he thought it would at the point of release.
I don't know, because you never heard of receivers dropping in high school. I just think, to be honest, I think that
maybe his high school team had better receivers than Michigan.
Yeah, I think some of the guys he's throwing to just can't catch the ball.
Sometimes
they lack confidence. But the good news is I don't think we're going to see Samaje Morgan out there too much anymore. Klein this week, I believe, said he's 100% now. He feels better.
Don't forget about Marshall either.
So hopefully that gets us that he starts playing like we thought he was going to play at the beginning of the year, Klein.
Yeah. Yeah, he looked great at the beginning of the year. He came out firing.
Yeah, like I think they're starting to figure out who can play and who can't play. And I'm hoping they put some of these young guys in positions to go out and play more. Even if it means some of the veterans sitting, that's fine. Like
it is fine.
You know Andrew Marsh and McCauley are going to play. If Klein plays and is 100%, at least he has 3 venues to throw to. If I don't see Samaje Morgan take the field again this year, I'm okay with it. And I actually really like the young man. But what are you going to do? At some point, you've got to stop having drops. And I don't want to see jet screens anymore.
Yeah, I know. It hasn't been the most exciting what's the word I'm looking for? It hasn't been the most exciting or successful offense or passing offense this season. But I mean, any given Saturday, right? Things can turn around. And coming off this bye week, we really have to see something from Bryce, because if we don't see it this week, it leads me to believe we're not going to see it next week, and we probably won't see it the week after that. This could be, I mean, 3/4 of the season is over. It's this last quarter. We're in the fourth quarter of the season, and we really need to, step it up, and especially at the most important position. And like I said, last time we talked here on Wolverine Backers, we were talking about next year this, next year that. And, even if he just needs to improve over these next 3 games so that it shows something for next year. It shows something of what hopefully could be. Because, I mean, he is still a true freshman. I think at the beginning of the season, we got a little chesty and we were like, oh, by the end of the year, he won't be a true freshman anymore. He'll have the whole season under his belt. And it just seems that the learning curve might have been a little steeper than he and I know for me, especially maybe both of us thought it wouldn't be so steep for him at the beginning of the season.
I think we bought into the hype a little bit, and I think everybody did. And I think he's showing that he's a true freshman. What I want to stop seeing, though, is everybody blaming the coaching staff for some of the problems on the field. Yes, some of the problems are the coaching staff, if you're talking about time management stuff.
Breaking up on me.
But can you hear me now?
I can now, yep.
Yeah. But when you're blaming Chip Lindsey for calling a game and Underwood's missing wide open receivers.
Technical difficulties.
And Underwood's missing wide open receivers, it's not Underwood. I mean, it's not Lindsey.
Yeah.
Like,
against
Purdue,
well, that's
against Purdue, I went on social media and all you heard was, oh, it's Sherrone Moore, it's Lindsey. But when I was sitting there watching those games, there was guys wide open. The scheme was right.
Right.
It's just they didn't execute it. And at some point,
the Purdue game was the Purdue game. I couldn't.
At some point, the players have to get the blame, and they have to play better. And hopefully, this is the game we see it. You there, Kyle?
I see me. You've just been cutting in and out quite a bit and pausing. So I'm not quite sure if you see me or if it's happening the same way.
No, I see you right now, but I'm not the one cutting.
Okay, good, perfect. I can hear you too right now. But from what I think you were just saying, yeah, it's not Lindsey or Sherrone Moore's fault when wide open wide receivers are missed. And when I wasn't even at the game, I was sitting in my basement folding laundry, watching my kids during that game, and I couldn't believe the amount of drops. I couldn't believe it. It was like, but then there were some bad throws that would probably be drops even if it was the best receiver in the country.
How about
but then there was some right in the.
There was full misses. Not even drops. He missed guys wide open.
Yeah. It was a bad game. And luckily we had the bye week last week. And let's just hope that the training staff, the coaching staff, and Underwood himself and his receiver core got together and made some adjustments, made some changes, and hopefully learn from the mistakes from the Purdue game, because we have this week and next week, and it's very similar opponent to Purdue. I'm not meaning X's and O's. I'm meaning talent, record. And this is these next 2 games, to go back to what you said, they pretty much are the warm up for the whole thing at the end of the season, and we need to win all 3 of these games. And this game on Saturday, big noon, and the game next week in Landover. I mean, it's gotta be better. It's gotta be good.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see a lot in this game from this offense to make us even believe they're a playoff team, let alone I want to say let alone a good team, but I think they're a good team. It's just the offense has been struggling so much to find that rhythm with the passing game. Like, the running game has been fine. These guys have done a great job doing what they had to, right? Hayes is out, but Marshall's been a machine too. And Marshall's going to be great for us next year too. So really like how he's progressed. And with Hayes' injury, he might be back next year. You never know.
Yeah. He started off as the second back, and he's primary now. And it was because of an injury, but that Purdue game and the games before it, he's proven that he could be a number one on many different teams. And the fact that we had the 1-2 punch earlier in the season, and it's kind of a shame how Haynes is going out. Hopefully he can be back for the end of the season. I haven't read up on anything yet, but I'd like to get him a nice curtain call for him as a Wolverine, because he is not sticking around next year. That's for sure. I think a lot of teams saw what they want to see out of him.
See, I don't know about that. I don't know. You never know in this day and age. Being hurt,
true. That's true.
Depending where he's slotted in the draft, right?
Yeah,
because he got hurt. And with NIL money, a lot of guys come back for that one more year, right?
That's true. I might be thinking old school way of the old school college football way right there. But what I found interesting, though, looking at Northwestern's offense, I don't want to say they're almost two-dimensional, because if they do pass, it's going to Griffin Wild, number 17. Their 6'2", 200-pound transfer out of South Dakota State. He's got 43 receptions on the year. The next closest Wildcat has 19 receptions. So for Northwestern to be successful through the air, both Preston Stone has to be on his game. But if Griffin Wild is covered, I think that's going to make them a one-dimensional. They're going to have to pound the rock, and hopefully Michigan's run defense can stop them, because Michigan's run defense had a little bit of an issue with Purdue last week. And but this Griffin Wild character, he seems to be Northwestern's number one and kind of only option through the air. So I feel like if we shut them down, we can keep it on the ground, and we can make them one-dimensional as well. Preston Stone's having a fairly impressive year for a Northwestern quarterback, 1,522 yards, 11 touchdowns. He does have 9 picks, though, which, if he's going to be trying to force it to Wild, I could see a couple more of those coming this Saturday.
Well, I think this is definitely going to be a typical old school Big Ten type contest, where you're going to see, as you put it, 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Well, they are playing on real grass at Wrigley, so
like it's not going to
no
be
longer 3 yards in a cloud of pellets.
Like, I don't think it's going to be a very exciting offensive game.
No, unless Michigan shows up to ball. That's the only way I feel like it's going to be an exciting offensive game. If Michigan just comes out of the gate and Bryce has addressed all the issues that we've talked about over the last 23 minutes.
Well, yeah, if all of a sudden Michigan comes out and Bryce Underwood, I think what's going to happen with Bryce is it's going to click at some point. And you heard Urban Meyer talk about, you heard other guys talk about it. Some guys just take longer than others. But when it clicks, I think he is going to be everything we thought he was going to be. It's just a matter of when that clicks.
Right.
Hopefully it clicked in this bye week, and he gets out there and he realizes he can trust what he's doing or what he's done before, and he's not trying to throw heaters or throw bullets at guys, where he's showing that touch he showed on other passes.
Yeah.
And that comes out. And we're going to find out, but as from judging what's happened so far this season on both teams, to me, it's going to be one of those low scoring, a race to probably 24.
Yeah, I think the first team that gets to 20 wins the football game. I mean, you know, I feel like there'll be some drives that stop short, and Michigan ends up settling for a Zavada field goal. But I think once we get to 20, that'll be, it'll tell. And I hate to sound like, you know, just a cliche but whoever's going to win the turnover and whoever's going to win the rushing yards is going to win this game. And hopefully Michigan can force some turnovers through the air, pretty much with Northwestern only having one target that they go to. And they will go to Griffin Wild, especially when the chips are down, because they know he's basically their only option through the air.
Well, just looking at the stats alone, right? 119th in passing yards. They're like us. They don't want to pass. Well, it's not like we don't want to pass the ball. I don't think they pass.
Right.
They just can't pass the ball, right? Because not like Michigan's much better at 107. Rushing yards a game, 41. We're 12th. So they're going to want to run the ball, right? But if you look at that bottom side, yards a game allowed, 32nd. Michigan gives up 304. They only give up 324. This has all the makings to be that game, right? They're both very good defenses. Even last week, I think it was last week when Northwestern went to USC, it was only 21-14 at the half for USC. And if it wasn't for that fumbled pick that should have been a pick six fumbled out of the end zone for a touchback, that game could have went a lot differently for USC.
You think it could have went a lot differently if they didn't cheat and put the backup QB out there as the punter?
I don't think that's cheating. Well, according to the rule, it's cheating to me. I don't mind it.
I didn't look up the rule, but it's.
And as a Michigan fan, I'm not going to talk about cheating. It happens.
Do you think they could put Bryce Underwood out there? This is Hollebeck. This is Michigan's punter. Do you think if they put a number 90 jersey on Bryce Underwood, they would mistake him for him in a fake punt situation?
I don't think they'd mistake him, but you might be able to throw it on Davis Warner. Because he's back, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't very good throwing the ball last year.
I guess.
He wasn't very good throwing the ball last year, but why not give it a shot?
Yeah, I'd probably just stick with the punter.
Now, the key for Michigan, too, is if you look at it, the turnover differential at the bottom of this, -5 to +8.
Yeah.
This has screaming turnover buffs for this Michigan team.
Yeah.
What would be nice to see is a fast start for the offense, even if it's just them punching one in on the first drive. Get Underwood a couple easy throws to get going, 3-4 yards, move the chains a little bit, get the running game going. And if the defense can somehow get an early turnover to give the ball back and we can get up 2 touchdowns, it could be a very different game. Do I think that's going to happen? No. I think you're going to see the typical slow start at halftime, 14-7, maybe 14-10 Michigan. And then in the second half, I think they're going to pull away a little bit, but it's going to be a lot closer than most fans want.
So you think it's going to be –
and what sucks
you think
about
maybe
that
the final score won't exactly reflect the actual game? If say Michigan wins like 31-17, you think it'll be a lot closer than that throughout the game?
I think the score is going to be a lot closer than that. And the problem with that, too, is if this game doesn't look how a lot of these fans want, it's going to be another week of, is it time to fire Sherrone Moore? Even though this year we're in a lot better spot than we were last year. Recruiting-wise, we're in a lot better spot. Talent-wise, we're in a lot better spot. There's been growth.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I'm not ready
I think what it comes down to is what we've talked about this entire 29 minutes is that it really does come down to what the coaching staff and what Underwood can do to help him play better football. Whether or not it's slowing down his mechanics, whether or not it's reading the defense is different, whether or not this defense is easier to read than Purdue's is for him in the moment, it's really just going to come down to Underwood's performance at noon on Saturday, because everything else seems to be, like you said, I think that the talent pool on our team is much higher. That's just, Northwestern is, I believe, the only private school in the Big Ten, but it's not the football powerhouse that Michigan is supposed to be, and Michigan showed that they are not the powerhouse that Michigan is supposed to be last week against Purdue, it would seem. But, I think we have everything leaning towards us in this. Obviously, we're ranked. They're not. But it's last week, man. It's hard to say anything. Because I do feel like it's going to be a game that Michigan wins handily, and maybe not like up by 21, but consistently up by 10, 14, 10 points.
See, I think this is going to look
last week.
I think this is going to look a lot like the Purdue game. And that could just because I was at the Purdue game and I watched it from where I watched it from, and I was like, it could just be like recent because it was the last game. I'm being biased a little bit, but 2 weeks to prepare, and hopefully everything's clicking when they come out. Right? Quick question: did you know this is a trophy game?
Yeah, that's it. Like, and even if it is, like you said, even if it is just ground and pound on that first drive, get 7 points. Get everyone in motion, get everyone in gear, let them know, like, hey, maybe I know maybe playing in a different arena, Wrigley Field, maybe that'll pump somebody up or makes. I don't know who on Michigan's from Chicago, but we're grasping at straws here. Like, it's this is scary this deep into the season, and we're talking about this. Playing at a neutral site. I know it's not as neutral as it's still technically a home game for Northwestern, but Michigan fans travel, man. And
Chicago has
I think it will be.
Chicago has one of the biggest alumni pools in the country from the University of Michigan. I think I think if I read it right, there's something like 23 or 26,000 graduates inside Chicago. So Michigan's going to have a good turnout. Did you know this is a trophy game?
I did, but I wouldn't have known it was the what is that? George Henry Jewett? Yeah.
It's the third time they just made it a trophy game. It's only the third time they're playing for this.
And I do remember something about this. What are the things he's holding?
It's the first
books, obviously. But.
It's the first trophy named after an African American football player. So he's holding a football and books.
Nice. I like it.
A little bit
better
of
than half the trophies out there already. It's only 3 years old.
Yeah, learn a little bit considering it's between Northwestern and Michigan. You might as well throw some books in
the elitists, the academics.
So did you check out any?
What's that?
Did you check out any of the rankings for the CFP?
I've dabbled in it a little bit.
Any thoughts?
When it comes down to that team from down south, there's now. Correct me if I'm wrong. Traditionally, the SEC is the best conference, correct?
Yes.
Traditionally, yes. Would you argue that they are the best conference this year? They have more good teams than the Big Ten does.
Yes and no.
Okay.
I think the problem in both conferences is we have no idea who's good and who's not good.
Has Texas A&M not beaten 3 ranked teams on the road within SEC play this year?
Actually, I don't know exactly. I believe it is. I think they beat Notre Dame.
That's not SEC play.
I know, but I don't think ranked SEC teams. Now, are you getting to the Texas
I believe
A&M?
they have.
Are you getting to Texas A&M should be the number one team?
I am getting to that, and I know it won't happen. They're not, if Ohio State doesn't lose, they're not going to get leapfrogged. But I do think they should at least be number 2, especially after what Penn State did to Indiana. They play at Kyle Field, man.
Here's the thing I think people get too worked up about is this is the second ranking.
Yeah.
Between week 1 and week 2, there's been crazy amounts of changes. By the time we get to Selection Sunday, this is all going to be different. Look at it this way. Georgia and Texas play this week.
Yeah.
If Texas goes on the road and loses, a 7-3 Texas team at that point, I'm sorry, you don't deserve to be in.
No, I agree with you 100%, especially if Michigan ends up 10-2.
Like now that was your best win would be Oklahoma. But then you lost all the other games that were against relevant teams.
Right.
So you could see Texas kind of get eliminated, even though Sankey's going to come out and the mouth of the South, Paul Feinbaum's going to be out there broadcasting from the highest mountaintop that the SEC deserves all 16 teams in the playoff.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Okay. Even Kentucky deserves to be in. Even though they haven't won that many games because they play in the SEC. So they should be in just because of that. I don't know. The best
Well, I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
I think you're starting to see that this playoff at 12 teams is starting to get watered down now. And they're going to try to make it 16. And I understand it's advertising money. It's more games, more money. And you're not closing
Money's the only answer to anything.
You're not closing Pandora's box now that you have this many teams. They should have went to 8. Plain and simple, they should have went to 8. Because some of these teams don't belong. And listen, even Michigan.
I feel like the idea of 12 and having some buys was, well, and more games, more money. But I think having the buys and then having those first couple games played in non-neutral sites was too much. That idea was too good on paper for them to go to 8 teams instead of 12.
I really like the home playoff games.
Me too.
That's awesome. They need to get rid of the traditional bowl nonsense and just play home games. And if they can, please God, just give the group of 5 their own playoff.
What do you think? I threw this by you last week. What did you think about, like, if a group of 5, if you have 2 losses, you're automatically, if every team has 2 losses, there's no automatic bid?
No, I don't even care if you have 1 loss. You just shouldn't be allowed in this. There's a difference of a group of 5 team schedule, even against some of the weakest teams that get in schedule. Like, if you're getting,
would have never had Boise State Statue of Liberty.
Okay, but that was a different era.
I know.
That's not gonna.
20 years ago, 25 years ago.
I understand what college football is trying to recreate is what you get in March Madness with the Cinderella story. It's never going to happen in football, especially now with NIL, tampering, and everything else. Oh. These players that were on that Boise State team would have never still been there.
No, you're right.
They would have been plucked to another school. Look at college basketball. You're losing to Cinderella because all these small schools who develop these guys get to year 2 or year 3, and they're on their way to Duke or they're on their way to Michigan.
Technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Like they're on their way to these schools. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna. It's not gonna happen. Can you hear
I
me
wonder
now?
if this is on both ends.
No, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, I think we're good. Hiccup
Okay.
in the internet there.
All good. Yeah, like you're never gonna see that in football, Cinderella. I think they need to get rid
Yeah,
of the
probably
group of
not.
5. Get rid of the group of 5. Start there, and then they got to figure out a more balanced way to do this. I don't want a committee. I don't want to hear about guys sitting in a room or girls sitting in a room and deciding who's good and who's not based off of strength of schedule or an eye test because they watched 2 games.
Yep, for sure. Or just looked at stat sheets. You know, I would hope that the people who are on the committee are watching the majority of the games. And sometimes it just seems like they're not. You know,
Well, let's
and realistically, when there's a 4-game playoff, that just means teams 6 and 7 get screwed. If there's an 8-game playoff, that just means 9 and 10 get screwed. If there's a 12-game, that just means 13, 14. It's the same thing. There's always that same argument, but you just start to not care about the argument the more teams there are. Because if we're arguing whether or not grab something out of the sky here, USC is ranked 14th, but they're a Big Ten team. Should they be in or should they not be? You know, it's like at that point, you're right, it's watered down. But at the same time, I really like college football, so I'll watch all the games. They've got me.
Oh yeah.
I am
as much as I say it, because of what we do, we're gonna watch it, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, even if we didn't do this, I'd be watching
The 3
it.
biggest things I wish they would do is get rid of the group of 5, figure out a better way to pick what teams get in, because all this is, like Kyle said last week, this is an invitational, and get rid of the bowl games, everything at home except for the final, and let different cities bid on it like the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Might as well, right? Like let's make this thing huge. I mean, it's already huge, but like, yeah, if we're gonna we are. I think in the not too distant future, we will look back at this time. You know, that's what was that the year with 4 teams, or was that the first year with 12, or the third year with 12, or the first year with 16 teams? This is a transitional period of college football. NIL, I'm assuming, will change. Like get more dialed in. I think the transfer portal has to. This leaving after 1 year anywhere you want to go, I think is ruining the sport, especially for newcomers, and it's scaring away the traditionalists. Maybe someone who's not so brainwashed like I am, who's going to watch the game no matter what. I mean, I'll watch Northern Illinois take on Texas State. Like, I'll watch that football game. But for people who aren't obsessed over it, part of the fun of college football, obviously, was, did you see the freshman wide receiver, man? Like, in a year or 2, he's going to be a stud. Yeah, he's going to be a stud somewhere else. He's either going to be at a way bigger school. I mean, I know it's harder to get way bigger than Michigan, or a way better school, either football or academic, or they're going to be playing at Jackson State because they weren't as good as they were supposed to be. They're not going to stick around either way, because if they're not good enough, the team will get rid of them because they'll have different transfers coming in, right? It's a completely different world, but whether or not we're not going back to 8 teams now that we're at 12.
No,
You'll ever get your wish for an 18 playoff, but 16 teams is we can see it. It's coming down the pipe. So just get used to it and just get your mind wrapped around it. And it's going to be watered down, and there won't be Cinderella, but I think it'll be more than likely, just like if there was only 4 teams, or if it was still BCS, there's 4 teams that are going to win the national championship every year. There's one of 4 teams usually, right? Then it slowly cycles away from those teams and goes to the other teams, and a couple other teams have their moment in the sun. And it really doesn't matter if it's playoff or based on a committee or based on computers or AP poll, coaches poll. It all still kind of comes down to the end, but we just get more football games.
Yep.
That's the positive way to spin it, I guess.
So let's get into this now. We already talked about the Northwestern. Let's get into some score predictions for this weekend. We'll do the Michigan game last.
Okay.
So this week we're gonna do Iowa USC. Oh, I had the other game right. Texas.
Give me some split. Okay.
Texas and Georgia. Let me see. And Michigan Northwestern.
Okay.
So Texas is in Georgia. Texas is at Georgia, just so you know.
Iowa's in California.
Yes.
California.
So USC California, who you got?
USC Iowa, you mean? Iowa USC.
No, I mean USC California. I'm already telling you who I'm taking.
Well, I more than likely would have taken USC before that. You sure it's in USC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, according to this, it says USC at. Iowa at USC. So.
I could have swore it was at Kinnick.
No, last week.
I get my weeks mixed up these days. I'm gonna go. I think Iowa puts up a fight. I really do, but I think USC will be too much to handle. I'm gonna say 35-24 USC.
I'm going to go 35-14 USC.
Okay, I have a little more faith in Iowa.
Under the lights in Georgia.
Still here.
Game.
Okay, here we go. Texas, Georgia.
Under the lights, 7:30 in Athens.
Okay. That's going to be a good game. I'm going to watch that game.
In the last two games, Manning threw for 700 yards, I think. So is Mr. Manning back, or is that all for show?
Was he ever here? What's is this is a night game under the lights, you're saying, right? So yeah. I can't go against the Bulldogs. I really can't. What's the spread? Do you know what the spread is?
No, but I could give me a second, I can look it up.
It's got to be somewhere in the 6.5 point range. Is 12.5 more accurate?
No, I would say
because Georgia's. I don't know. I don't know if this Texas team can go into Athens and succeed on
minus. Georgia's favored by -6. What I'm looking at right now.
I was close with my second guess, but second guesses don't usually count. All right. I'm going to give them I'm going to go
we lost them.
I'm going to go 35-21 Georgia. What do you got?
42-14 Georgia.
What was Texas's score?
42-14
for Georgia.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a blowout, bro.
Now the big game.
Yeah, the game. The big noon.
Yes, big noon's going to be there. What do we got? Who do you got?
Well, I have Michigan winning this game. I'm going with my gut. I am going with it, and I am going to say 31-17 Michigan.
I am not going with my gut. I'm going to try to use my head here. And after what we've seen against Purdue, I'm going 24.
City in Ontario.
24-14. Michigan. I think we are experiencing technical difficulties again, my brother. So hopefully you got that. It was 24-14 Michigan is my prediction for Saturday at Wrigley Field in the beautiful city of Chicago. Well, with that, Wolverine Nation, as always, go blue. And how we always end the show is reminding everybody that Ohio fans can't spell Ohio.